Hey guys, today's story is about a rule-lawyering paladin. So, I've been trying to get my girlfriend to play D&D again, and it's been a little bit of an uphill battle, since her first impression was an absolute horror story. My cousin invited me to a game he was DMing and hosting, and I hadn't played in a few years, and was excited to try 5e out. So I asked my live-in girlfriend if she wanted to give it a try as well. She said that it sounded like it could be fun, but she wasn't sure about the rules. So I just told her, just say what you want to do, and we'll use the rules to determine if that happens or not. When we were driving there, I went over the basics, like how we use dice rolls on a d20 to decide how well that your character does something. For example, saying that you want to jump on a table and do a little dance. And you describe the dance, and we roll a d20, and use some numbers to determine how well you do that which you are describing. And she seemed to get it. My girlfriend and I got there a little early, so we could try to make her sheet, and I decided to make her a warlock. With the limited spell slots, I thought it would be a good way to wrap her head around magic, and when in doubt, she could always just use Eldritch Blast. She's also really into witches, tarot cards, and other such things, so I thought it would be a fun role for her to play. And the cast of characters are my cousin as the DM, his wife playing a lawful good wizard, and two longtime mutual friends playing a chaotic neutral fighter and a chaotic good barbarian. And there was also this guy that I didn't really know playing a lawful good paladin. And I rolled a lawful neutral rogue. The game started off well enough. We had a pretty generic opener with all of us having the same dream, with us being instructed to go to an inn in a small town. It was basically a you all meet at the inn, but with an extra step, so we could all have a moment to develop our characters. Everyone tried to improv some scenes with their characters, and when it was my turn, I made a joke where my rogue was blackout drunk the night before, and already ended up at the inn, to his surprise. The paladin impatiently said, "I wake up at the inn as well, so we can move this along." And my girlfriend, now nervous and the last person to go, said,
"Oh, yeah, okay. I wake up at the inn too."
My cousin, picking up on the impatience, set us along a path that directed us to a dungeon, and we all piled into a cart and made our way down a road. We took shifts sleeping and keeping watch, and I said, "While I'm laying down before I start sleeping, I carve a hole in the side of the cart." The paladin interrupted me and asked, "Why does that matter?" But I ignored him. "Can I roll to see how big the hole is?"
"Yeah, sure."
I rolled a 5.
"It's a pretty small hole."
"OP, stop wasting our time with this bullcrap. You always do crap like this."
But every time there was a shift change, I kept carving at the hole.
"Stop it with this stupid hole. This isn't how you play. I just want to get to the dungeon."
"The hole has gotten pretty big."
Eventually, the party stopped to camp for a long rest since we all can't sleep in the cart. They all laid out their bedrolls around a fire while I slept in the cart. The DM rolled some dice, and my GF's character woke up to find herself being dragged away.
"Oh my god! What should I do?"
"Kill it."
"How?"
"Just attack it."
And with this, my girlfriend was panicking, and I leaned in and said, "What do you think that you or your character would do in this situation?"
"I scream."
She screams and the creature turns to notice that you are awake.
"Everyone do a constitution check to see if you wake up."
I passed and I grabbed my bow and drew it, aiming through the hole that I carved in the cart.
"Since your hole has gotten quite large, you can roll with advantage and get a surprise action."
I rolled for a 12 plus 4 and a 17 plus 4.
"You can't do that. The best he could do is get +2 AC for his cover."
"Well, he already rolled."
And with my attack, I was able to trigger Assassinate for a total of 35 damage, and dropped the enemy in a single hit. My GF jokingly exclaimed,
"My hero!"
I get up and run out to see if there are any more of them.
Just then, you're ambushed by 3 more orcs.
Which, with this, we ended up drawing the encounter on a dry erase map, and I used my bonus action to hide in the cart again, and rolled for initiative. Every time that it was my girlfriend's turn, the Paladin had absolutely no patience for her trying to figure things out. He would just continuously say things like,
"Use Eldritch Blast,"
and he was constantly trying to take her turn for her, instead of just giving her a second to do things for herself. This went on for a while, and the Paladin had no interest in role-playing, and was just trying to get things to combat as soon as possible. He was also an absolute rule Nazi and power gamer. I'm the type of player that likes to roleplay and likes to think of interesting ways to approach a combat situation, but every time that I tried to do so, he got aggressive with me, saying that I was wasting everyone else's time. I started getting rather pissed off at the Paladin, but it all came to a head when we were in this encounter, where we were in this very big, dark room. There was light poking in from the ceiling, and my GF was human, so her hits kept missing due to the lighting. I told her, "Hey, try to hit the ceiling to create more light." And when it was her turn, she said,
"I shoot the ceiling."
"No, you can't do that. That won't work. Just keep using Eldritch Blast."
She got really discouraged and just went back to shooting the baddie. I then used my turn to steal his gold. He got furious, but he couldn't do anything about it because I passed both my sleight of hand and stealth checks. But, of course, after the encounter, he randomly decided to count his gold and then instantly assumed that it was me when it came up short. My girlfriend stopped wanting to go to D&D after 2 sessions. I stopped after 3. Her first impression of the game would dictate that it was all about knowing the rules and just non-stop fighting, despite me just trying to tell her that it was just a bad experience. And as far as the Paladin, I talked to my cousin and he said that he's a lot better when he's not drinking. But personally, I think he was just jealous because he was the only single guy there. Well guys, there's multiple layers to this one. As per usual, if someone is being an absolute freaking jerk, confront them about it, either yourself or talk to your DM. DM didn't do much here. The players didn't really seem to do much either. That's not good. Another thing is if he's drinking and no one else is, that is also generally something that I've had a problem with in my games in the past. If you're going to drink during a game, you should ask everyone else involved. And not to mention the whole fact that he kept telling other people what they could or could not do when he's not the DM. And, you know, the fact that he was apparently angry as well for being by himself and not having a significant other, which is an awful mystery if this is how he acts when he's around other people that do have significant others. I'm sure a bunch of people are lining up for that. But that's the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed, and, as always, have a good one.